Alright, looking good. All is nice. And let's start. Mari kita mulai. Oke. Hai teman-teman, jumpa lagi bersama saya Deddy Wicaksono di atas gudang. Kembali lagi dengan Sherlock Holmes Chapter One. Kemarin kita sudah berhasil menyelesaikan sebuah kasus dari Verner Vogel di mana seseorang telah mencuri lukisan yang ada di dalam pameran private miliknya. Namun apa yang terjadi teman-teman? Separuh dari kordona kita guncang dan putar balikan hingga menyentuh dua high ranking official, yang satu official, yang satu kriminal, dan keduanya kita tangkap. Oke, sungguh sangat menarik sekali. Dan sekarang kita sudah dikirimin sebuah paket dari Vogel berkat kemarin berhasil menyelesaikan kasus miliknya. Dan kita sekarang akan kembali lagi ke misi A Mother's Love. Masih kita akan mengungkap misteri kenapa ibu kita meninggal. Oke, without further ado, let's go and play. Jangan lupa untuk klik like dan subscribe channel ini teman-teman sebelum kita bermain. Let's go. Really appreciated your support. Oke, mari kita lanjutkan dan kita akan kembali lagi ke rumahnya si Sherlock yang ada. Oh, kita mesti keluar dulu dari sini. Let's get out of this place. Oke, tidak ada bisnis furniture lagi ya? Nggak ada. Oh, ada furniture baru teman-teman. Saya mau cek dulu. Siapa tahu kita bisa langsung menyelesaikan misi selagi kita jalan. Furniture baru. Orang-orang ini pada ngejual furniture miliknya Sherlock. Ini dia.
You'll never find such magnificent paintings. My goods will bring.
Oh, jangan tinggal satu nih doang. Cordona Landscape.
Enjoy your purchase.
Excellent purchase, Mr. Sherlock. Ada lagi nggak yang lain? Nggak ada sepertinya. Oke, all good. Udah, kita masih belum pernah eksplorasi city yang bagian situ kali ya. Mungkin itu bagian terakhir kali. Oke, kita akan kembali ke Stonewood Manor. Oke, sebelum kita kembali mungkin kita akan mengunlock beberapa memori terlebih dahulu. Coba kita lihat itu. Oh, what happened? Wah, ini paketnya ya. Sepertinya ya. Coba kita tanya ke John. What? What's that?
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar.
How the hell? Mermaid?
Did you just remember something?
Yes. A room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock. So, you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare...
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything. I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation. You know I will find out eventually.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and move on from her passing.
The consequences of one's actions determines what is right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. After leaving Cordona, Sherlock, you had a normal childhood. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man. You have so much potential, so much to offer society.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, about you, and about myself. I feel unstable because of you. Your actions were not justified. Lying never is.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal as the international. It is time you come to accept that some things are bigger than yourself.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just an ego trip. You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes and ears everywhere. The fact it helps the nation is incidental, because all you care about is yourself.
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you weren't so damn stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only here for you.
Oh, Mycroft. Wow. Satu hal yang saya perhatikan ternyata tato kita masih ada. Jadi saya hilangin dulu deh. Mana dia? Nah. Ya, tato menghilang. Oke, dan Mycroft jauh-jauh datang dari London cuman menuju ke sini doang. Dan ini adalah sebuah patung yang sangat mengerikan. Ini patung mermaid, teman-teman. Kalau kalian lihat itu belakangnya itu ada rusuknya tulang ekor ikan.
Just look at this thing. It's huge.
It's huge. Itu artinya kita ada satu area yang sudah di-unlock. Mungkin ada sesuatu kah di sini?
Why does this barn give me such an unpleasant feeling?
Oh, I know. It's because Mycroft used an axe to shoo you out of here. It scarred you for life, but I enjoyed it.
Oke. Ternyata ada bangunan di situ dan kita sepertinya akan masuk kembali ke rumah. Mungkin kita sedikit cek kemarin, nggak ada apa-apa. Oke. All clear. Seandainya kita bisa ambil jeruknya di sini. Oke. Ya, lukisannya sudah ada. Fractured memory. What's this? Wood.
I remember
straight.
returning home with a pair of perfect sticks. We wanted to turn them into training swords.
Oh, that's right. We stood there, frozen, staring at something huge in the main hall.
Itu adalah lukisan ini. Oh, ada apa ini? Female fishtail mysterious.
It was a giant aquarium with a living mermaid in it.
What?
Impossible, it must have been something else.
Ya itu tadi, patungnya tadi. Dry skeleton rock.
Oh, of course, that mortifying hoax presently taking up space in our front yard.
Well, fine. Your memory's better than mine. But I'm sure we started examining it immediately. And someone else was around too.
Sorry banget. Family member
It
female.
was my mother.
Maknya.
She asked what I thought of the artifact.
You were really concentrating and holding something in your hand.
Oh.
I inspected it with a magnifying glass and was able to confirm it was made of two different skeletons. The mermaid was a fake.
And so it was time to smash the thing. Your mother took a hammer and...
Slow down, John. That's not how it happened. I remember other people joined us.
Siapa lagi? Worker.
The workers took the artifact and placed it into the cabinet of curiosities. It became part of Mother's collection of fakes. She always said that the truth lies in the details. This mermaid helped me to learn that.
Dan ya, satu area terbuka. Kita lihat dulu. Ya, ini lukisannya dia. Itu Mycroft. Itu bapaknya. Dan yang di tengah Sherlock.
This portrait was painted sometime before my father's death. I would guess it's the only depiction of him that remains.
Ada lagi nggak? Sebenarnya saya beli banyak hal, tapi belum terbuka semua. Ini sepertinya belum backyardnya. Tadi kalau nggak salah beli pistol. What's this one? Oke, mari kita masuk.
Ah yes, my mother's studio. She was an authenticator and this was her cabinet of curiosities.
I never saw the point. What does it matter if some artifact is real or not? It still exists.
One of the most ridiculous fakes I ever saw. Its owner insisted it was a polar bear. He
Dicat.
thought the white paint on the brown fur wasn't noticeable.
Jadi polar bear-nya dicat dari grizzly gitu kayak brown bear. Cozy blanket.
I remember this cozy blanket. It was perfect for...
Wigwam! Oh, that was a joy to build them. Imagining ourselves as wayfarers on the other side of the world.
Oh, sebagai tenda. Oke. Main benteng-bentengan waktu masih kecil.
It's a pity how many amazing things are missing from this room.
Whoa, what's this? Venture the Deep. Deep Sea Farrier. Oh,
Another fake Holy Grail. Its owner claimed to be the heir of King Arthur. Scarcely believable. He also insisted a deadly rabbit was hunting him.
Holy Grail palsu. Oke. What?
Mother said this was among the hunting trophies of a Scottish Viscount.
So he tried to persuade everyone that his forest was inhabited by these beasts. It would have been thrilling if it were actually true.
Tanduknya ditempel. Hey, what's this one?
The full plate armour of Sir Robert Saunford. I was told my father won it in a wager.
Oh, ini beneran.
Armour is armour, but look at his sword. Oh, how badly I wanted to wield the blade. Maybe you take it instead of your pistol.
Oh, ada peti apa? Petunjuk. What's this? Diploma? A torn diploma found in the cabinet of curiosities. Someone deliberately ripped it into several pieces, reassembled and translated the diploma reads, "On behalf of the board of the University of Geneva, Switzerland, we rectors of the university noting that Mr. Otto Richter has undergone the tests required by the laws and regulations. Confer on him the degree of Doctor of Medicine with rights and prerogatives so attached." Jadi ini adalah ijazahnya Dr. Otto Richter yang mengasuh ibunya dari Sherlock. Ini kenapa disobek?
Clearly, it was deliberately torn. I wonder why someone would do that.
Ya, kenapa orang-orang itu melakukan menyobeknya?
The Tulpa, Studies in Tibetan Mentalism.
Ini adalah buku dari Tibet. Mentalism, meditasi kali
An
ya?
impressive number of bookmarks. Someone was rather obsessed with this subject.
Oke. Ada yang merasa tertarik dengan ilmu meditasi dari Nepal. Dari Tibet. My dear brother, I heard you recently arrived on Cordona. Have you come to see me? I do miss our evening conversations even if we never agreed in our opinions. Saudaranya dari Otto Richter. Cordona is come to a stunning new art gallery which I visit every Thursday. Meet me there. Oh, and do not seek Klaus. I left that name behind. Apakah si Richter ini ada hubungan dengan Vogel? The plot thickens. Otto Richter personal notes. Mrs. Holmes is a patient of considerable interest and ideal test subject to explore some of my theories. Waduh. Oh, jadi percobaan juga ya. I will attempt to repeatedly immerse her in traumatic situation that precipitated her mental illness. What? It is my belief that reliving that moment may give her mind a chance to embrace what happened, accept it, and effectively cure itself. Oh, jadi si Dr. Otto ini berusaha untuk menghidupkan kembali masa-masa traumatik dari Mrs. Holmes supaya dia bisa move on. In addition, it's fortuitous to be around the broader Holmes family. Perhaps I will be able to also examine the heredity of psychological traits, be they competency or disorders. It is already apparent that all family members share an uncommonly high intelligence. Ya, jadi si Otto Richter tuh tertarik dengan keluarga Holmes karena mereka tuh orang-orangnya jenius. Dan orang-orang jenius itu punya ciri-ciri psikologi yang sedikit berdeviasi atau berbeda. Ada misalnya si Sherlock selalu berhalusinasi tentang John. It appears that the mother's condition has begun to affect the mind of the youngest boy. Oh, bener kan, Sherlock? While I cannot conduct a proper medical examination due to the protectiveness of the elder son, it seems that the boy suffers ongoing hallucinations in the form of an imaginary friend John. Benar kan? Jadi Otto tahu keberadaan si John. Richter eksperimen dan mental disease. Oke, nggak ada apa-apa dulu. Hanya satu main palace clue.
When you're finished here, can we build a wigwam from the blankets? Like in the good old days.
And this one was brought from a German museum. They claimed it belonged to Vikings. Nonsense, of course. Vikings never had horns on their helmets.
Oh gitu. Vikings never had horns on their helmets. Interesting fact, teman-teman. Viking tidak ada tanduknya di helm.
The so-called mummy of a Persian princess. The defrauders did good work, but missed one small detail. It's the mummy of a man.
Isinya cowok. Oh, apa nih? Cthulhu. Ada lagi nggak yang lain? Ah, itu ada sebelah sana. What is this?
Look, it's Roger. This jolly old man's well preserved. Even looks refreshed.
I doubt he drew much interest at the auction.
That's for the best. I'd be upset if he fell into the wrong hands.
What's this? Oke, kita nah 1852 Bingley, West Yorkshire.
1852,
Yorkshire.
Bingley, West Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. Oke. Oh.
This
Maknya.
photo caused a lot of fuss. My mother spent some time to prove it was a fake.
Oh, bukan. Ada fairy-nya. Ada pri-pri di situ. Ternyata itu palsu. Iyalah. What's this? Dear Mr. Holmes, please accept my deepest gratitude for your recent help with that personal matter. I shudder to think what may have happened, but if not for your keen eye and sharp mind. Rest assured, should our path cross once again, you will be greeted by a grateful friend. His Honor Judge McDougall. Jadi ada seorang hakim yang dibantu oleh bapaknya si Sherlock. Terus kenapa ini? What's this? Coba kita balik dulu. Officer Luciano Placido. Reliable and driven.
I recognize Mycroft's handwriting.
Placido.
Officer Luciano J. Placido. So many calling cards. Mycroft liked to keep useful people at hand.
Oke. Jadi ini adalah orang-orang yang relasinya Mycroft. Ada sesuatu kah di sini?
This drawer was always closed. Only Mycroft knew how to open it.
I remember we tried to break it open and spy on him, but alas, had no success. Maybe today's the day. Ah, Sherry.
Ya, mungkin kita bukan bisa membukanya di sini. Apa ini isinya?
Carefully opened.
Mhm.
Dated 24th of April, 1869.
1869. Mr. Mycroft Holmes. Oh, oke. Jadi itu bukan Mr. Holmes, bukan bapaknya ya, tapi buat Mycroft ya. Cordona City Hall writes to inform you that the trial of Dr. Otto Register in the death of Mrs. Violet has been assigned to His Honor Judge McDougall. The application for a closed hearing has been granted. You are hereby informed that the prosecution has called you as a primary witness in the trial of Dr. Register. You must present yourself. Oh, oke. Jadi semakin mengerti. Mr. McDougall ini punya apa tuh namanya, berhutang budi kepada si Mycroft, dan kemudian si Mycroft itu memakainya untuk menuntut Dr. Otto Richter atas kematian dari ibunya Mrs. Violet Holmes. Waduh. Jadi dia di sini dipanggil sebagai saksi, teman-teman.
I'm starting to remember something.
Oke.
Oh, I remember these. We used them to spar together until Mycroft found out and forbade us from using real weapons.
Ada lagi kah? Sepertinya tak ada. Ting. Oh, ada sebuah buku. Kita melewatkannya. Watkinson and Holman Chapter One. Ini mas Sherlock dan John Watson.
Watkinson and Holman Chapter One by Wallace Dioram.
Oh, Mycroft. He always acts so serious, but then reads tripe like this.
John, if I remember correctly, you couldn't put this book down.
Kalau misalkan si John membaca buku itu artinya si Sherlock baca. He knows. Ada lagi kah yang belum? Sepertinya sudah cukup. Semuanya ada di sini. Oke, kita cek di Main Palace. Mycroft testified against Dr. Richter. Dan ini membuat suspicious psychiatrist. Jadi seorang dokter yang mencurigakan. Mycroft did not like the methods of Dr. Richter and did not trust him. Jadi makanya dia dituntut. John's Diary. Good catch. Apa ini? Casebook. Oke, ada banyak hal di sini. Memories in the Manor, I spent my childhood, torn diploma. Oke, letter from the judge. Oh, ada tantangan. Master of Unlocking. Oke. Kita akan cari-cari di mana dia berada. Early morning, footsteps.
The memory comes back. We snuck about watching him.
Kita lihat.
He closed the drawer and went to the hall. We were like two shadows crawling behind him.
Naik. Oh, what's that? Landscape tilted.
The painting on the wall was slightly a tilt. He stopped and straightened it.
Dia duduk di sini.
Then he threw some logs into the fire and sat in his armchair to read.
It's as boring now as it was then. I'm sorry, Sherry, but I think that's it.
Wait, John, we never use the fireplace in the mornings. What if...
Mana dia? Ada sesuatu di sini.
A bit of juniper in the fireplace created a soothing atmosphere. It's the little things, isn't it? I think this is what we're looking for.
Oke, tiny key. Kita udah nyampaikan ya. Tada. Ternyata kuncinya masih di tempat yang sama.
We made it. So what's there?
A bottle of Royal Lochnagar Old Scotch Whiskey. Sebotol whisky. 10 tahun. Mungkin sekarang sudah berapa tahun nih?
Single malt whiskey. Mycroft's favorite. Gifted by Queen Victoria herself.
What? Dari Queen Victoria. Half a bottle of fine single malt whiskey, Mycroft's favorite drink, was a gift of Her Majesty Queen Victoria herself. Gila. Dikasih dari Ratu Victoria. Ini kasus-kasus ini.
Dossiers on the most influential people on Cordona. Mycroft always had a habit of building files on everyone he met.
Jadi orang-orang penting di Cordona. Kenapa dia nggak bawa ya?
Otto Richter.
Sudah nggak penting lagi kali.
Otto Richter. This one is rather thick. Mycroft can be truly dogged in his research.
Mycroft Research. Otto Richter, 45 tahun, lahir dari keluarga yang disegani di Bern, Switzerland, belum menikah, tidak punya anak. Seorang medical practitioner, seorang dokter, lulusan dari University of Geneva, Switzerland. Lulus dengan graduation was kelulusannya ditunda setahun karena ada skandal kecil on one of his placement. Karena ada skandal kecil dari salah satu penempatannya dia. Parents died, orang tua mati karena kolera 1863. Only remaining family is half brother. Jadi ada separuh ininya dia. Adik tiri atau kakak tiri. Klaus, age 35. Oh, itu adiknya berarti Klaus. Present whereabouts of Klaus Richter unknown, last seen on Cordona. Klaus Richter, siapa Klaus Richter? Jangan-jangan Vogel. Ya, mari kita foto sejenak kali ini. Hehehe. This is nice. Iya lucu. Oke, mari kita buka di sini dan John's diary lagi, item a present from the Queen. Wow. Mother's love. Ada satu hal lagi, accident in the cabinet of curiosity. Oke, ada sesuatu yang diingat lagi. Ini sudah dipakai. Oh, ini dia. Ada sesuatu teman-teman. Ada sebuah tangga
I
tua.
used this ladder to look at the top shelf, right? On the day of Mother's breakdown upstairs.
Right you are, Sherry.
Oke. Jadi dia memakai itu untuk naik di hari ketika ibunya breakdown. Large artifact
We heard a
view.
noise. I can't recall of exactly what. And we didn't have a great view from behind the statue.
Ada suara yang kencang sekali. Mungkin kita lagi ada di wigwam. No? Oh, ada sebuah buku. Buku yang terjatuh.
Books and papers from the table somehow ended up on the floor. Now it's coming to the surface. I feel it.
Oke. Oh, apa yang terjadi? Recollection. Mari kita rekonstruksi kejadian. Oke. Yang terjadi adalah Sherlock sedang berupaya untuk nggak tahu bermainkah di situ? Oh, mereka lagi bermain ini. Main kejar-kejaran. Oh. Oh, oke. Mereka sedang apa? Oke, mereka sedang bersembunyi. Sepertinya ada insiden di sini. Itu mungkin Mycroft. Entah kenapa mungkin kayaknya ini doang sih.
Come on, Sherry. Let's go outside. Wait. Did you hear that? Come here, Sherry.
You call this progress? Charlatan, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
So there was a quarrel between them.
It all happened shortly after the incident in Violet's room on April. Sherry decided to play with artifacts in the cabinet of curiosity, and of course I went with him. As a result, we became unintentional witness. Jadi mereka jadi saksi pertengkaran antara Mycroft dan Otto Richter. Jadi Mycroftnya sangat marah. He was sure that Dr. Richter had done something dubious. Jadi dia yakin bahwa Dr. Richter itu melakukan sesuatu yang sangat tidak diinginkan. And that it had backfire. He called Otto a charlatan. Charlatan tuh penipu ya? Ya nggak sih?
I heard a
Curious
noise in the
conversation.
hall. Let's check it out.
Ada tamu lagi? Siapakah?
Sherry, look! We've got a parcel here. Hurry up and let's see what's inside.
Ada parcel lagi. Oh. Lagi, Mr. Vogel. I'm waiting for you at Kurt Manchio's mansion on Turquoise Lane, across from Cordona Abbey in Northern Grand Surrey. Come at once, if inconvenient, come anyway. Always your friend Vivi. I sent you the appropriate outfit for the scope. Please to avoid unnecessary complication.
An invitation that comes with a mask. We can't miss this, Sherry.
Ada kejadian apa lagi deh dengan dia? Cordona Abbey. Itu adalah ini salah satu cerita lanjutan juga ya. Oh, interesting. Dan itu kayaknya adalah oke. Jadi kelanjutan dari story ininya, main story-nya. Alright. Sepertinya ini yang akan kita lakukan teman-teman, tapi sebelum itu saya akan sudahi dulu untuk case yang kali ini. Ini cukup pendek. Jadi yang terjadi adalah kita masuk kembali ke rumahnya Sherlock, terus kemudian menemukan bahwa ada sebuah patung mermaid palsu. Terus kemudian kita mengetahui bahwa ternyata ibunya Sherlock itu adalah seorang kurator ya. Mungkin seorang kurator yang dia gemar mengoleksi barang-barang palsu, atau setidaknya dia gemar untuk mengetahui apakah barang itu asli atau tidak. Dan di situ ternyata kita tahu bahwa Dr. Otto Richter itu sedang bertengkar dengan Mycroft, dan ya di situ ada diplomanya dia yang disobek oleh Mycroft dan terjadi pertengkaran. Dan sepertinya Mycroft menuduh bahwa si Dr. Otto Richter itu adalah dokter yang palsu atau dokter gadungan, dan ya dia menuntutnya di pengadilan segera setelah si ibunya meninggal dunia. Oke. Dan sekarang kita akan mendapatkan pesan event lagi dari Mr. Vogel. Oke, let's go. Mari kita akan melanjutkan sesi berikut ini. Oke. Tapi sebelum itu Alright, jumpa lagi bersama saya Dedi Wicaksono di atas gudang. Ini adalah Sherlock Holmes Chapter One. Kita sudah mendapatkan sebuah undangan dari Vogel untuk menghadiri sepertinya sebuah pesta di Kurt Manchio's Mansion di Turquoise Lane across Cordona Abbey. Oke, without further ado, let's go and play. Tapi jangan lupa untuk klik like dan subscribe terlebih dahulu. Support dari kalian sangat membantu untuk channel ini berkembang. Terima kasih teman-teman. Oke, mari kita lanjut. Ya, ada memori lagi dari John. Curious conversation, yaitu adalah ya obrolan antara si Mycroft testified against Dr. Richter. Oke, sacrificial lamb. Saatnya kita menuju ke case yang baru yang ada di entah di mana tadi itu. Mari kita keluar dulu supaya bisa fast travel. Alright, kita akan menuju ke Grand Surrey, Northern Grand Surrey, Cordona Abbey, Turquoise Lane, mana dia? Bukan di Scaladio tapi di Grand Surrey, yaitu ada di sekitar sini. Turquoise Lane. Nah ini dia. Seharusnya ada di sini sih. Mungkin ada di Cordona Abbey. Ini ada di sini. Oke, mari kita menuju ke sini. Mungkin jalan masuknya dari sini. Alright. Interesting. Kita akan menuju ke sana. Tapi sebelumnya kita harus mengganti outfit sesuai dengan yang diinginkan dia. Oke, mungkin what's this? Face mask. Menarik. Mungkin kita perlu ganti outfit dulu yang sesuai dengan ini. Prince of Darkness. Jadi itu ternyata. Oke, dan kita nggak perlu pakai apa-apa sih di luarnya. Johnnya mungkin saya ganti pakai ice cream John aja. Mengerikan sekali teman-teman. I am the Prince of Darkness. Aduh, renderingnya patah-patah. Mungkin di sini. Yap, ini dia. Menarik sekali.
Welcome to the Manchios Mansion.
Ini ada sebuah pesta eksentrik yang saya yakin pasti ada orang mati setelah ini. Interesting. Whoa, interesting.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
Alright, I'm enjoying. Wah, oke. Ya, saya melihat ada sesuatu yang sepertinya tidak baik untuk usia 18 tahun ke bawah. Tapi mari kita lihat sejenak. Hai John, ayo ikutan. Temenin aku dong.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
Hey John, ngapain kamu di atas? Wah,
My
tidak
goodness,
sopan.
Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Go is it a guess?
Oke, kita sampai di pesta orgy, teman-teman. Setidaknya sih yang kita lihat sampai saat ini. Dan yang harus kita lakukan adalah ada tantangan John untuk look for information that he might use to write an article exposing the local elite. Jadi mungkin kita akan mengetahui siapa elite official yang ada masuk ke dalam pesta ini. Mungkin kita bisa tahu, mungkin ada orang-orang yang sebenarnya lurus Itu ternyata ikutan juga ya pesta di sini. Mungkin ya. Mari kita lihat. Oke. Greek performer. Oh, ini aktor. No problem. Ini, what's this? Who's this guy? Mysterious aristocrat trains for a bullfight. Friendly, has 4 children. Tahu dari mana? Short-sighted. Sympathetic, obsessed with exorcism. Okay. Who's this man? Evade taxes. Okay. Dari mana dia tahu evade taxes? Takes regular boat trip. Ini performer. Jadi pokoknya yang pakai pakaian dalam itu aktor aktris semua ya. Flat earther friendly. Servant. Whiskey kritik. Kalau ini tadi nggak kelihatan. Yang ini whiskey kritik, yang satunya siapa ya? Entah.
You know what was here before Manchio's family bought it.
Okay. Ternyata ada ini. Nah, kita mendengar-dengar. Find out the eerie history of the mansion. Oke. Cari tahu informasi tentang mansion ini yang sangat menakutkan. Mysterious disappearance, fraud, no, ruins, magic circle, expensive wine, ancestral home, occultist architect. Before Manchio's family, the mansion was owned by an occult. Oke, jadi dia mansion ini dulunya dimiliki oleh seorang arsitek yang juga bagian dari cult atau sekte sesat ya kali ya. He dedicated his life to conducting powerful ritual. Dia mendedikasikan hidupnya untuk membuat sebuah ritual yang sangat kuat di dalam sebuah forgotten tomb. Tapi magic circle-nya katanya sangat lemah. Makanya dia bikin mansion ini. Jadi kalau misalkan kita lihat mansion ini bentuknya itu mirip dengan seperti magical symbol. Jadi simbol ini ya, simbol magic ya. Some walls dan beberapa dindingnya punya itu, ada beberapa bolong-bolong gitu ya. One day jadi pada suatu hari arsitek tersebut tiba-tiba menghilang. Sebuah abu ada di lantai, sisa-sisanya mungkin ia berhasil.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece and I can expose these base hedonists.
Oke, tinggal satu lagi sih. Berarti yang perlu kita cari tahu. Mungkin si John bisa. Mungkin dari sini kali. Cordonian friendly, no? Dia sendirian sini. Nighthawk. Former farmer.
Curtains do not guarantee privacy.
And you still need a crack despite being ethereal.
Oke, gue mendengar ada sesuatu. Social anxiety. Mungkin ada di atas atau di ruangan lain. French performer.
Manchio's had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
Wow, oke. Uncover the identity disclosure scandal. Ada skandal apa di sini? Mari kita cek. Lost bet, bukan? Too poor to attend, no. Cheating groom. Someone was sick. Too ugly without a mask. Fire after incident. Uninvited priest. Political crisis. Offended duchess. Oh. People describe ada sebuah skandal ya, di pesta sebelumnya. Wakil Gubernur Cowden ditemukan oleh calon istrinya, Prussian Duchess, dengan seseorang. Oh astaga. Jadi ada wakil Gubernur Cowdennya ternyata bersama dengan seorang pria muda. Dan dia ditemukan oleh calon istrinya di sini, yaitu Prussian Duchess. Walaupun pernikahannya itu akan menjadi pernikahan yang politis, jadi emosinya dari Duchess-nya itu benar-benar nyata. Jadi mungkin Duchess-nya benar-benar menaruh perasaan terhadap si governor ini, namun ternyata dia menemukannya bersama dengan pria lain. Insiden ini menunjukkan ada political crisis between Cordona dan Prussia. Although they were Prussia tuh Syria bukan sih? Atau nggak tahu. Although there were only few notes of protest, the governor fired his protege. Jadi wakil gubernurnya itu dipecat oleh gubernur dan sejak saat itu orang-orang di pesta ini semuanya pakai topeng.
I'll pin them down, this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
Ngapain lu John di situ? Rumor has it. Oke. Ya, mari kita cek apa yang bisa kita lakukan di sini. Mungkin kita bisa tanya-tanya.
I should write to my friend about the handsome men here. He'd appreciate it.
Sepertinya kita harus naik ke atas ya, karena tadi itu angle kameranya tuh menunjukkan bahwa kita harus ke atas. Jadi kita nggak bisa naik ke atas ya. What's this?
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
John, kamu terlalu banyak. Hey, what's this?
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower? Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones.
Ada lagi yang lain. Nggak ada lagi. Nggak ada barang-barang yang bisa kita lihat. Oh, oke. Nice picture. Lukisannya menarik sekali teman-teman.
Look, I'm an outlaw.
Oke, mungkin kita bisa kesini sejenak. Oh,
Sherlock, friend. I wasn't sure you'd come.
Verner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
Oke, diajakin ngedrak atau nyimeng. That would be reckless, that would be pointless. Gue rasa pointless.
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
Oke, jadi si Vogel ini menggelitik sisi moralitas dari Sherlock Holmes. Jadi Sherlock Holmes itu dibilang terlalu dia terlalu egois sih sebenarnya. Dia ingin menunjukkan, dia ingin mengungkap semua misteri, mereveal fakta. Namun apa yang terjadi adalah dia tidak peduli sama sekali terhadap konsekuensi dari keputusannya tersebut. Jadi itu makanya saya beli newspaper itu sebenarnya pengen tahu sebenarnya hasil konsekuensi dari tindakan yang dilakukan itu apa. Jadi sebenarnya itu sangat bagus sih untuk mengetahui what's after the case. Cuman sayangnya, ya ini kita sekarang lagi ditawarin lagi. I will take it for study. I won't need it. Oke, apakah kita cimeng sebentar atau enggak? Kayaknya enggak. Take it for study.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Waduh.
Pardon?
Altar?
room. What now, Verner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Oke. 2 evidence, barang bukti. Jadi ada kunci dan ada Fabio. Pesta orgi. Sepertinya nggak ada lagi yang bisa kita lakukan. Waduh. Dan seperti biasa teman-teman, someone is dead. Dan dia adalah Fabio.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
Oke, ini dia apa yang terjadi. Kalau kalian mengunci seseorang di dalam ruangan penuh dengan pemandian. It's nice actually, rekreasi. Mari kita cek sebentar apa yang bisa kita lihat dari sebelah. Kita akan mengecek ininya terakhir, badannya dia terakhir. Yang pertama ini adalah incense.
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony.
Oke, jadi sepertinya dupanya itu sedikit halusigenik, membuat halusinasi, tapi tidak terlalu
This
parah
elaborate
seharusnya.
box must be for the ritual dagger.
Oke, ini untuk ritual dagger yang ada di dadanya. Dan what's this?
This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive.
Oke, yang ini flower sama olive. Yang satu lagi.
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
Aphrodisiac dari lalat Spanyol. What?
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry.
Ada lagi, yang ini adalah
The sign reminds me of the
Mars.
astrological symbol for Mars.
Ini adalah nothing. Oh, ini hanya papan, bukan batu beneran. Mari kita cek. Oke, oh ternyata dia dipukul dulu.
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
Pendarahan dalam sebuah kupu-kupu. Oh,
This crude tattoo partially covers a slave branding.
oh oke. Jadi tatonya dia tuh menyembunyikan bekas ini ya, bekas apa? Brand budak, tanda budak. Oke. Waduh, dicopot lagi.
This golden handle has a blood stain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp but lacks balance.
Oke, mari kita ambil. Itu kenapa itu?
This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
Waduh. Ini seperti Naruto aja di pusernya dia. Apalagi nih? Ada 6 harusnya. Apa yang
The
dipegang?
victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it.
Oke, jadi dia memegang selimutnya dengan kencang. Kakinya kenapa nih? Kenapa kakinya bengkok sebelah? No? Ini bekas lukanya.
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. He died right here.
Jadi dia benar-benar matinya di sini. What? Si Vogel. Dan dia sambil enak-enaknya minum. Masih ada lagi nggak ya sebelah sini? Oh, ada sesuatu kah? Oke.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Banyak sigar. Apa ini?
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
Oh, ini cuma buat perapian. Tidak ada apa-apa. Sini juga nggak ada. Apa ini? Oh, bekas darah.
An open wound spoiled the carpet.
Ini kenapa dia di sini? Sanyovis.
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human.
Oh,
It didn't
oke.
break only because it was unopened.
Jadi dia dipakai untuk memukul orang itu. Mungkin orangnya dipukul pakai itu dulu, terus kemudian ditaruh di altar dan ditusuk mungkin. Aduh, that's crazy. Dracula. Oke, nggak ada apa-apa lagi ke sini.
What about a quick pillow fight?
Oh, ada. Tapi sebelum situ kita ngobrol dulu sih.
Verner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Verner.
Mabuk. Oke, gue lift dulu.
Let me see what I can do about all this.
Kita investigasi dulu semuanya. Oke, ada sebuah altar di sini. Oh, bukan.
The picture is empty, but with puddles around it.
Oke. Sedikit genangan. Oh,
Blood
ada bekas
clots are
darah.
adhered to the sides of the drain.
Berarti bekas darahnya semua dikeluarkan di sini. Mungkin berusaha untuk meninggalkan barang bukti. Oh, ini adalah bekas baju.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
Sebuah buku.
This is a different ritual.
Ada ritual. Naked woman lies on the altar on a bed of flowers. Mother Gaia may come to engage in sexual congress with her. Waduh. Ya, itu ritual seks ya, teman-teman. Bacanya adalah Matista, don't stop boring them. Manchios. Oh, jadi Manchiosnya ini komplain kepada Matista karena tidak menghiraukan tamu-tamunya.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
Nah, ini untuk menyamar. Dan ini adalah For My Fabio.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchios.
Interesting. Kunci apa ini?
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Jadi ini adalah kunci milik Fabio. Jadi ini mejanya Fabio, sebelahnya mejanya Matista. Siapa Matista itu? Dan ini adalah topengnya dia.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
Bekas darah. Wah, ini dia.
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
Ada lagi nggak di sini? Belum. No, nothing. Sepertinya tidak ada. Oke. Tidak ada lagi ya. Airnya udah berhenti. Oh, airnya muncul lagi. Itu sudah semuanya. Mars dan Venus. Sepertinya nggak ada lagi di sini. Kita cek. Kosong ya. Cek lagi sekali. Oke, sepertinya sudah beres. Oke, mari kita interogasi si Vogel. About night like this.
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death.
Iya, ya malam-malam seperti ini yang muncul adalah kematian. Who is Mr. Manchios?
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
Itu makanya. This taste is giving you the taste. Jadi gara-gara punya selera yang eksentrik semacam ini, kejadian seperti ini pun bisa terjadi. How did you find the body?
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Jadi habis itu mabok-mabokan dia untuk melupakan semua ini.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
Okay.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh, yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer, too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
Interesting.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Verner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door.
Oh.
That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
Oke. Jadi ketika di awal dia pengen si Vogel pengen masuk ke ruangan ini, nggak bisa karena kuncinya itu masih ada di pintu. Tapi kemudian dia pergi, kemudian dia balik lagi, kemudian dia baru bisa membukanya. Itu artinya si pelakunya itu masih ada di ruangan ini untuk dalam jangka waktu tersebut.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
Tuh pakai dia dikasih misteri ini. Alright. Mari kita lihat di casebook sejenak. Banyak banget man. Smoking lounge. Ada sesuatu di smoking lounge ini yang perlu kita deteksi teman-teman. Ya itu dia. What's this?
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood.
Ada lagi? Ada banyak.
A bloody handprint on an armchair. The wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
Oke. Mari kita mulai merekonstruksi kejadian. Pertama-tama kita akan cek dulu semua clue yang ada. I found some blood drops and handprint on the door frame. Okay, the door was locked the first time after an hour. Baru kebuka. Matista di sini. Ada old wardrobe, gifted cufflinks, dressing room, ritual scenario. Jadi senarionya adalah yang tadi seperti dibilang Vogel. Mancio's note. Victim description. A left fist of the victim was clutching fabric. Fabio met his death here. Jadi sepertinya Fabio dipukul dulu baru kemudian ditusuk. Spear to cover his slave branding with a crude tattoo. Murderer drew symbols of Mars and Venus on the walls with the victim's blood. Oke. Jadi pembunuhnya menggambarkan grafiti di dinding itu dengan menggunakan darahnya dia. Interesting. Oke, ritual daggernya tajam tapi tidak balance. Itu maksudnya enggak semua sisinya tajam. Tidak semua sisinya simetris. Its handle is made of gold. The handle has blood stain. Jadi ketika dia menusuk itu sudah ada darahnya di pegangannya. Itu artinya orang yang terluka itu adalah orang yang menusuk. Atau mungkin dia yang memukul si Fabio hingga darahnya. Nggak tahu kenapa ya. Sepertinya orang yang memukul Fabio ini juga sudah terluka kali ya. Oke. Nah, kita cek dulu dari kejauhan. Oke, mungkin awalnya bermula dari sini mungkin. Bukan, itu pakai Nah, jadi ini seperti itu. Sedangkan ini oke, masuk akal. Jadi setelah dipentung dia membawanya, tapi ya itu ada berkas darahnya dia. mungkin seperti ini. Rada aneh sih. Cuci tangan, ya. Ya, ini harusnya si pelakunya yang mencuci tangan di sini. Oke, terus kemudian dia menaruh bajunya di sini. Yang jelas bukan si Fabio. Dan dia mengunci pintu. Dan terakhir ditusuk. Oh, dia nggak ngecekek sih, tapi dia menusuknya di sini. Gue rasa seperti ini. Validasi. Benar kan?
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge.
Pong.
Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door.
Interesting.
The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
Dikiranya dia berhalusinasi. Oke, Fabio died at the altar. Fabio was altered in nearby room. Fabio's keys remain untouched. Altar room was locked and unlocked. Kemudian altar room was locked. Oke. Jadi pembunuhnya punya kunci untuk menuju ke altar room ini. Kemudian Fabio was killed in a ritual murder. The ritual was a cover. Jadi ada dua logik teman-teman. Apakah si Fabio itu dibunuh sebagai sebuah ritual, atau ritual tersebut hanyalah sebuah kamuflase? Tapi kita cek itu. Murderer clean themselves. Oke, mari kita cek casebook. Ya, kita mesti cari tahu di mana kuncinya si pembunuh itu berada. Fabio's murder. Kita mesti tanya juga ini. Salah. Ya. Tanya ke ini.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Verner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Verner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Okay, evidence, murderer's key.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Okay. Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Okay. Ada lagi?
I know you can untangle this mess.
Alright, mari kita keluar dulu teman-teman. Mencari key. Kurt Manchios appearance. Ya. Kita mesti mencari Mr. Manchios. Dia memakai sebuah topeng ada bintangnya. Bukan. Flat earther, sympathetic. Tense and brittle. Is this the guy? Wear mask with golden stars, and he is nervous. Yep, this is the guy.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Verner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
What about
Did you
Fabio?
know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Ada polisi. What? What the hell happened? Oh, kenapa dia ditahan? What? Oh no, what happened here?
Look at you. Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You know my mother.
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate.
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only. to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
Aduh,
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
interesting. Jadi sepertinya pelakunya itu melaporkan ke polisi ada pembunuhan di situ, dan ya tiba-tiba di situ ada Sherlock yang lagi menginvestigasi, terus ada Vogel dan ada Mr. Mancios, semuanya jadikan tersangka di situ. Menarik sekali.
I can't go back to prison.
Oke, mari kita cek. Ini adalah surat dari arrested suspect Mr. Vogel, Holmes, Mancios, Matista. Dan ada satu lagi, si itu yang belum menangkap. Si siapa namanya? Sanchos. Yang melapor si satunya kayaknya. Satu orang lagi, si majordomo itu. Santos, betul. Pinchetti witness. Oke. Oh, kunci.
Back on track to solve the case.
The writer of this ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case. Hehehe. Oke teman-teman, kita masih menyelesaikan case ini, cuman di beda tempat aja. Yang sekarang ada di kantor polisi. Tapi keuntungannya adalah berkat di kantor polisi ini semua saksi dan terdakwanya semua ditaruh di satu tempat. Jadi it's quite nice. Jadi kita nggak perlu pergi ke mana-mana lagi untuk mencari mereka. Alright. The murder cleaned itself. Pinchetti is a majordomo. Ya. Yeah. Pinchetti is a suspect. Yep, teman-teman, saya tahu nih. Dia pasti ada tersangkanya. Cek lagi. Evidence ticket, kita bisa mewawancarai beberapa orang. Santos is suspect. That makes him a perfect suspect. He even appears to have been the first person to find the body. Oke, kita cek. Mana lagi nih? Oh, itu tempat buat nguping ya. Wah, ini buat interogasi. Oke, siapa yang sekarang akan kita panggil?
Look, I found Verner.
Ini mah penjaranya ngeri banget nih. Oke, itu ada berapa orang?
Verner, are you all right?
Oh, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
Yeah, I wouldn't lie for you.
There are lines I will not cross, Verner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
Okay, provide evidence. Coba tanya Santos.
I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here.
Witness deposition.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti.
Do I know him?
The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
Jadi dia nggak tahu sama sekali apapun tentang si Santos. Oke, berikutnya. Ini ada siapa? Ada. Oh, ini si Matista.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Condolences.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Coba kita melihat dulu. Oke, ada sebuah tato di dadanya. Primitive occult tato. Oh, dia yang bikin sendiri. Dan itu tinta. Dan dia sepertinya dicekik ya, obtained recently. Dan ada sedikit darah di situ. Dia pakai make up. What's this? Bersama bunuh diri. Self-inflicted scars. Bitten nails, nervous. Oh, dia gugup. Kenapa dia gugup? Dan dia juga salah satu budak. Oke. Dan apa ini? Ya, ini bekas rantai. Dissociated from her body. Punishes herself for the past. Oke, harus baca pelan-pelan dulu. Jadi sebelah kiri dia kukunya suka digigit. Dia menandakan nervous atau gugup. Blood-filled bruise, jadi ada sedikit memar di lehernya itu, dan itu baru terjadi. Shackle scars itu tempat luka-luka tempat naruh borgol ya sepertinya. Burn mark, tapi itu lama. Burn mark itu bekas terbakar. Oh, ini bekas untuk mark of slave. Jadi itu bekas tanda untuk perbudakan. Old and healing cuts. Jadi dia suka melukai diri sendiri. Primitive occult tattoo yang dia gambar sendiri. Matista is the performer and Fabio's partner. Had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio. Jadi selama di perbudakan dia bertemu dengan Fabio, punya similar brand yang sama. She connects by this traumatic experience. She has genuine interest in mysticism. Dia punya ketertarikan kepada hal-hal mistis karena terlihat dari tato yang dia gunakan. Matista tries to get over her past and the life of performance seems to be an opportunity. Coba kita lihat yang satu lagi. Matista adalah performer dan Fabio's partner. Has a difficult life, branded and slave. Ya, dia juga nih. She continues to be haunted by this traumatic experience. Seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. Jadi sepertinya dia sangat pragmatis terhadap tubuhnya dia karena bertahun-tahun di abuse sebagai budak. Dia menjual dirinya pada tamu-tamunya. Whatever they want to her. She not afraid to step over the line. Also Matista marks her body with ink. Oh, kayaknya tidak ini sih. Ini harusnya. Ya.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
Where did it get those bruises?
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Oke. Si Matista. Matista dilukai oleh salah seorang tamu. Oke. Vincenti is Majadomo. Matista has fresh bruise. Oke. Matista bruised by the guest. Fabio bruised Matista. Mungkin begitu. Menarik sekali. Ada beberapa kemungkinan. Dia bisa jadi yang bertarung dengan si Fabio di sini. Dan ini adalah si Santos.
Good day, Mr. Manchios.
Oh,
I
Mr.
am
Manchios.
Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
Oh,
If you
oke. Dia
cooperate in
suka
finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars
apa?
again.
Cowok-cowok
voice.
muda.
Verner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Oke, kita cek kembali Mr. Manchios. Dia pakai make up. Oh, ada sedikit apa ya, merah-merah karena dia pakai ini pewarna rambut. Mungkin pewarna rambut di masa dulu tuh bikin iritasi. Wash hands in a hurry. Okay. Dia terburu-buru mencuci tangan. Interesting. Lavishly expensive. Sangat menarik. Soap under fingernails. Hide his age. Stickler for cleanliness. Coba kita cek sebentar. Kurt Manchios is extremely rich. Dia sangat kaya, eccentric, organizer of the party. He spent his life in the company of similar overprivileged people. His being sociable in this manner has made him cautious regarding his health. He used chemical and hair dye to clean and improve himself to the extent that jadi dia menggunakan ya itu tadi pewarna rambut. Dia sangat concern terhadap kesehatannya. Jadi ingin terlihat lebih sehat, makanya dia memakai pewarna rambut itu ya. He used to hide his true age from the younger participant of his party. With aging to the point here, he used makeup and hair dye to look longer. His being sociable has made him cautious regarding his health. Bukan. Dia pengen terlihat lebih muda kayaknya. Ini aja.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
I would like to know more about Ivan.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Siapa aja yang dia?
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see.
Okay, kenapa kamu
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Okay. Mari kita cek. Eccentric and controlling.
That's not something I know much about.
Okay.
You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that.
Gimana kalau ini?
You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else.
Keys to interrogation room? No. Murder's key?
You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that.
Smoking lounge.
You'd better ask someone else.
Bingung. Apa yang lagi bisa kita sih? Santos.
That's not something I know much about.
Evidence ticket, witness deposition.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
Okay, Santos ya. Police investigation.
You'd better ask someone else.
Mungkin ini.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Okay, Kurt Manchios had feelings for Fabio. Nggak tahu juga. Jadi Manchios set himself up for debauchery. Oke, mungkin dia juga suspeknya. The murder is, atau Manchios was himself after the murder. Oke. Sekali lagi, Pinchetti is majordomo. Nope. Gak ada lagi. Oke, cufflinks, berapa evidence? Nah, tinggal satu lagi. Kita akan menginterogasi si Santos. Mana ya si Santos berada?
This area is restricted.
Oke. Oh, mana si Santos? Tiba-tiba menghilang jadi satu orang. Mana dia? Santos is a suspect. Loh, ini archive-nya. Tuh, itu si John. Mana si Santos? Nggak ada. Manchios, Celia. Penjaranya kita tadi.
Help me, please.
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Oke. Nggak ada apa-apa.
This area is restricted.
Ini bukan. Italian butler, blind in the left eye, sympathetic. Kita lihat ciri-ciri Santos di sini ada nggak? While the witness left the station and went home. Oke, sepertinya kita harus keluar dari sini.
Did you hear Basilio Capello is...
Capello Company? What? Vendetta. Dead in the safe. Claims innocence. Wife is devastated. Beda kasus kayaknya.
Did you hear Basilio Capello is in jail?
Scandal, claims innocence, vendetta.
Did you hear Basilio?
Nope. Vendetta, death in the safe, wife is devastated, claims innocent, amat welcome.
In the police.
Oh,
let's
yes,
pretend to be
buddy.
cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
Mungkin kita bisa minta dia untuk
So much work, so little time.
bisa keluar. Dia harusnya tinggal di oke. Kita perlu cari tahu alamatnya dia di mana. Provide evidence, imprison Vogel, Mancios.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
Okay, pas.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Oke. Dia ada di sebelah sini. Room number 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 di sini. Oke, ini dia. Apa aja yang ada? Tuh ada kuncinya dia.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Santos, my hopeful slug. The majordomo of the Manchester received a jar of mustache wax and salt, claim that he might always remember his caring employer Kurt Mancios. Oke, ada lagi ya? Tidak ada sih sepertinya.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Oke, apa ini? Wow, ada bekas apa itu? Oh, alergi. Repaired multiple times. Bekas sobek kah? Colored more than once. Jadi bajunya tuh sering kali di bleaching terus di warnai ulang kali ya. Wah, step in blood. Colored more than once, allergy, repaired. Jadi dia miskin. Head servant, despite being employed at the highest position, he appears to be poor. Despite having enough money, Mr. Pinchetti spends as little of it as possible. Cheap makeup. Has dyed his suit on several occasions. Oke, jadi dia sebenarnya kepala pelayan tapi hidupnya miskin sekali. Ya, ini kayaknya dia.
Is your greedy nature responsible for the lack of taste and attention to your appearance? The cheap makeup, shabby and dyed clothes? How do you explain those, Majordomo?
The means to practice my profession are limited. I'm sorry you noticed it, sir.
The parties overshadowed your state. You are lucky Kurt Manchios's attention was concentrated elsewhere. In a decent household, you would be asked to leave for far less.
Yes, his attention was undoubtedly concentrated on something other than my appearance.
But one detail stands out on your dirty rags and shoes. The drops of blood.
Oh, that. I don't know anything about it.
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Oke. Jadi si Matistanya tuh hanyalah sebagai pemuas supaya si Fabio yang mau kerja aja kali ya. He appears to be poor. The head servant. Key murder.
I know nothing about this.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties. He paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Oke. Jadi ada beberapa main palace. Banyak banget. Banyak clue-nya nih. Oke, jadi ada darah di Pincetis. Mancios mock Pincetis. Kurt Mancios gave Fabio expensive gift. Yep, nih kayaknya bisa gini. Mancios mock Pincetis. Nggak ada? Nope. Okay. Pincetti accidentally step in blood. Sekali lagi. Blood on Pincettis, atau dia adalah pelakunya. Oke. Satu, Pincettis' effort in vain. Pincetti has been forced to work for Kurt Mancios in his desperate hope of obtaining heritage. Ya, si Santos itu selalu bekerja di Mancios dengan harapan untuk mendapatkan warisannya, tapi sampai sekarang belum. Coba kita lihat deduction dulu. Fabio ritual was a cover. Matista was bruised by the gas. Oke. Sepertinya ada yang missing di sini. Kita mesti ngobrol sebentar ke Mancios lagi. Ya, ini dia.
You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else.
Ini dia.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Oke. Ada tambahan lagi nggak? Nope. Ada lagi yang lain. Evidence ticket. Oh, oke. Kita lihat di evidence room. Ya. Let's check evidence room.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
Okay. Ticket. Evidence ticket.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Okay, let's see. Oke, ada banyak sini. Ada kunci.
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
Oh, okay. Ini punya Mancios. Cincinnya gede
It's a
banget.
miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone.
Fabio is your mind and sound, blah blah blah. The letter was found in Vogel's evidence box. You cannot control your bitterness, not around me anyway.
Not the time for privacy.
Si Vogel.
An emergency kit for boredom.
Oh, ini asetnya dia.
Verner's personal sketchbook.
Dan ini adalah punya si Matista.
Her key to the altar room. A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
Okay. The power of love.
That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Mancios' library.
Okay.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Thank you, officer.
Oke. Wah, sekarang mulai nambah lagi. The power of love and bentar, kita mesti interogasi dulu. Wah, gila makin banyak nih kasusnya. Letter from Fabio dan the power of love. Ini dari Vogels. Kita tanya si Vogel deh. Ada satu main palace yang bisa diambil. Letter may have been for Mancios. It may have been addressed to Court Mancios. Oh, okay. Blood and Mandrake. Letter from Fabio, dari Fabio ke Mancios ya. Mancios gifting strange and expensive gift to Fabio. In his letter, Fabio mentioned gifts he would keep due to someone's temperament. This angry letter. Oh, dia marah pada Fabio. Power of love, blood and mandrake. Jadi kita bisa ke ini dulu tentang blood and mandrake.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is really so lazy.
If you say so.
Okay. Terus ada satu lagi letter dari
Could
Fabio.
Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Mancios?
Oh, that could be. I never thought Mr. Mancios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Mancios.
Oh, dia pengen pergi
Clients
dari
who are in
Mancios.
love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Mancios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Mancios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Oh, dia juga mengguna-gunai si Fabio. Menarik sekali. Oke, ada satu lagi letter from Fabio nih, kita bisa ngobrolin. Ngobrolin dengan siapa kah? Matista trusted in the occult over Fabio, power of love. Terus Fabio was burning bridges with Manchus. Fabio broke Kurt Manchus' heart. Coba kita tanya sebentar si Matista. Letter from
I have
Fabio.
reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchus.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for
you being on a bender.
Touché.
Oke, letter from Fabio masih Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake. Ini belum juga. Bisa kita
Please let me out.
Oh enggak, dia udah habis. Sepertinya si Santos ini benar-benar tidak bersalah. Sama ini.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Verner was a little high.
Okay.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
Jadi dia pakai ritual itu untuk sebagai apa? Teater, aksi teatrikal. Either Vogel or Manchios is lying. Manchios planted the letter. Okay. Santos Vincesti is the murderer. Waduh. It was cold revenge. Okay. Yang jelas enggak? Manchios was himself after the murder, said himself. Harusnya Manchios sih. Accidentally step in the blood. Vogel took the letter. Manchios planted the letter. Jadi dia sengaja naruh suratnya di Vogel. Crime of passion. Jadi kelihatan sih. Atau kita bisa membuat ini sebagai aksi dari si apa itu namanya? Si Matista. Oh, kita. Matista is the murderer, a crushed soul. Bless. Yang jelas ini Manchios sih. Gue yakin sih si Manchios pasti yang bikin. Karena nggak mungkin si Manchios was himself the murderer. Fabio was by guess. Ritual was a cover. Ya, jadi ritualnya itu hanyalah sebuah aksi teatrikal saja, dan karena si Fabio itu menghancurkan hati Manchios, dia langsung dibunuh, dan kemudian dia menaruhkan surat angry letternya si Manchios itu ditaruh ke barang buktinya si Vogel. Jadi dia yang naruh surat itu situ. Gue rasa ya, crime of passions. Jadi Kurt Manchios heartbroken, panik, dan masih ada sisa-sisa sabunnya. Jadi itu sih sebenarnya yang bikin dia jadi main suspect, teman-teman. Dan a prison sentence should be enough, for his harsher punishment is the death of his love. Wah. Jadi sih seperti itu. Apakah dia sexual predator? Kurt Manches killed Fabio in cold blood. He staged the crime as a ritual to blame Matista. Jadi he planted the letter in Vogel's pocket to avoid suspicion. Manches has no consideration for the life of others and deserves to be hanged. Oke teman-teman, apakah kita mau menggantung si Manchios atau did not mean to kill Fabio? Oke, jadi tergantung nih, kenapa dia coba sebentar, saya lihat dulu back. Suratnya adalah untuk Manchios, was himself, had the key to the altar room. Kalau misalkan kita lihat kembali, kita masih ada letter from Fabio ini, kita bisa kasih ke siapa lagi ya? Masih bisa, oh enggak. Leave sebentar.
Let's continue our chat a little later.
Oke. Masih bisa tanya ke ini lagi.
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
Leave dulu.
Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Pinchetti. We'll continue later.
Oke. Letter from Fabio ini masih ditaruh di mana kali ya?
I appreciate your cooperation, Mr.
To a mysterious addressee. Gue bingung sih ini. Kita taruh di mana ya? Kita tanya ke siapa ya? Mungkin kita tanya ke sini. Provide evidence.
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Okay.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Oke, jadi ya semua case, semua evidence-nya sudah kita present, jadi kita nggak perlu ini lagi. Ya, gua rasa sih ya sexual predator. Kurt Manches kill Fabio in cold blood. Udah sih, gue rasa crime of passions karena dia heartbroken. Wahahaha. Mari kita present.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Verner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you planned. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
Yes. Pertama, love wasn't mutual. Pertama, fingernails.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned.
Love wasn't mutual, you staged it little.
You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
Love wasn't mutual.
You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
It was a crime of passion.
Fabio played with your feelings. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way that you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You were passionate, and so you struck him. Once you understood your mistake, it was too late. You were afraid, so you staged the ritual. With such a story, you might be sentenced to a few years. It might clean your conscience, and soon the case will be forgotten.
No. No.
This is my decision. I'll talk to Constable Oswald to see what I can do.
Yes. Let's give it. Ya, sudah selesai teman-teman. Yang perlu kita lakukan hanyalah laporkan saja ke Constable Oswald.
There's no fool like an old fool. Kurt Manchios did it. A young boy played with the heart of an old man. The latter couldn't handle it. The evidence I obtained clearly shows that the quarrel was not intended to end badly. It was an accident.
Showing pity towards your own kind, Holmes. Whatever.
All I'm saying is that prison won't take much away from an old and crushed man.
Fine. A big name like that will still give me a promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones, including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case.
Ooh.
Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
Sacrificial Lamb, dan kita sudah mendapatkan barang bukti dari report number 43, main suspect Octo Richter. Oke, menarik sekali. Ini sepertinya kebun belakang.
The garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
Yes, we almost found what we wanted. Oke, teman-teman. Ya, ini adalah sebuah crime of passion indeed. Dan kita berhasil menyelesaikan kasus ini di mana si Manchios itu ternyata tak sengaja membunuh si Fabio dan kemudian membuatkan ritual itu sebagai kamuflase saja dan menyalahkan beberapa pihak yaitu Matista dan Vogel dan si Santos, semuanya disalahkan. Oke. Dan ya, ternyata menarik banget ya. Panjang banget case-nya. Kayaknya ini sudah hampir 2,5 jam saya menyelesaikan case ini. Tapi nanti kalian akan melihatnya dalam potongan-potongan yang lebih kecil dan hanya bagian-bagian intinya saja. Dan ya, ini kayaknya bakal menjadi semakin menarik dan kita akan masuk lagi ke dalam mansionnya si Holmes untuk membuka garden bagian belakang. Oke. Itu dulu dari saya, Dedi Wicaksono. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Yep, all is done.